Okay, let me catch my breath. Sorry about that. With 5 children, ages 18, 14, 6, 4, and 5, there's always a disaster going on behind me, and I don't know what happened.
Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community.
Okay, since it is an absolutely gorgeous and breezy morning out here in Alabama, I thought I'd come out and film the last of the 3 questions I tried to accomplish yesterday. So if you're seeing this at the end of the video and I look different, my hair hadn't been combed, I'm outdoors, obviously, there's a reason for that. I just woke up, it's pretty much sunrise, but I thought I'd come out and try to answer that last question. Basically, the last question asked, were you hospitalized a lot? I'm assuming pre and or post transplant. Was I hospitalized very often? The answer to that was yes. Pre-transplant, for the last 2 years leading up to it, I can think back and remember that I was in the hospital every single month, basically, for the whole 2 years. Every month, every time you turned around, I was going in for some little something, catching some little bug, having some little difficulty, that sort of thing. And again, that kind of led me to know that I was wearing down and that the transplant was something that was going to have to happen. I was unget-overable, as I say, and it was just necessary. And so, yeah, I was hospitalized every month then. As a matter of fact, the last 2 years, I missed both Thanksgivings and both Christmases away from my family because it just happened that I was in the hospital. I hadn't been in the hospital for a long time, but on both Christmases and both Thanksgivings, I had to go in the hospital and was there for usually 6 to 8 days each time, and it just happened that I missed those holidays. So I was in the hospital a lot. Now, post-transplant, I was in the hospital also several times. I was never and have still never been back in the hospital related to my heart or anything such as that. But I have been back in the hospital a number of times for different things. You know, you catch the bug that won't go away. For example, I caught the stomach virus. We call the stomach bug around here. Usually keeps people down for 24 to 48 hours. I was actually in the hospital with it for 14 days. So a very awful, terrible thing. Again, it's the common cold, it's the flus, it's the bugs, the viruses, the bacteria, all those things. Because you're immunosuppressed, you're so much more susceptible to that. And so, yeah, you're probably going to land yourself at times being sicker than everybody else, and maybe even in the hospital. Now, some of that also, let me just say, to brighten that up, some of that was because my team was extremely cautious. And so I had specific instructions, for example, that if I vomited, we say threw up, I was supposed to call them, and generally they were going to place me in the hospital at least overnight for observation. So if I was running a fever, same story. I was supposed to call them, and I was generally going to be put in the hospital. They're overly cautious, but they're very thorough, and I really appreciated that. They caught some things there that could have been potentially really bad that weren't because they were being cautious. So, yeah, I have to admit, in the hospital quite a bit. Now, that was basically for about the first year. For me, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, fifth, sixth, and now in the middle of the 7th, I haven't been back in the hospital. I've done very well. I've had some bouts with different things that we've treated. I've had some times when I've had to go in and have some tests, maybe just stay for the day and get out, but I haven't been back in the hospital. Now, I'm just telling you that's my experience. I'm telling you that for a lot of people that's their experience because that first year they are so immunosuppressed, but just expect some of that. I've said many times before, transplant is a treatment and not a cure. You're going to have, because you're being treated for your organ failure, in my case, heart disease, I've been treated by getting a new heart, but the side effects and the fallout of all the medications and such caused me and allowed me to have other issues. And so that's kind of what I've dealt with. But I hope that answered your questions. I apologize yesterday. Too late in the day before I got started. My kids were home. They were a little rowdy. I needed to be in the, running around in the yard playing with them or in the living room rolling around. I think it was raining outside, but I tried to sit down and do a video. That was my mistake because they needed my attention. And so I figured I'd finish this morning. Anyway, we'll add this to the video and we'll see you next time. Thanks for all the questions. Stay stronger, friend.